Summit on making Kentucky better for bicyclists is underway in Lexington. Hundreds were at the event promoting safety and accessibility for the city's streets.
Lucy Bryson spoke to leaders there about what they want to accomplish.
However you choose to commute, whether that's on a bike or on foot, Bike Walk Kentucky is here to make sure you're doing it safely.
3 years ago, the League of American Bicyclists ranked Lexington as the 43rd most bikeable city in the country. Board member Keith Lovin says Lexington is doing better now, but there's still more to come.
Last year we were 37th. We just submitted the application this year, and we're hoping to be in the top 30 with the ultimate goal to be in the top 20.
That's one reason the Bike Walk Kentucky Summit is happening, to improve overall safety.
The number of cyclists and pedestrians killed on the roadways are increasing, and so we want to focus on that.
Bill Gorton is a commissioner on the Kentucky Bicycle and Bikeways Commission, a group founded by Kentucky legislature to advocate for cyclists and maintain communication with the transportation cabinet. He's been a cyclist himself for 35 years now.
This is an activity that is going to happen whether or not they're on board, and a project I've owned is to take that message to political leaders both locally and in Frankfurt.
He shares the commission's findings on the main stage today, with the hope that hundreds of leaders here will take this into consideration and strive for safety and accessibility for those not behind the wheel.
There's been a wave of activity from coast to coast and even around the world related to cycling, and we live in the most wonderful venue for that activity.
In Lexington, I'm Lucy Bryson, WKYT.
And the League of American Bicyclists official rankings for the year are expected to be released this fall.